Are you ready, Rasanj?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, recording has been started.
Okay. So, good morning, class. And today we begin with a new chapter in civics called the government. Okay. Now, in this chapter, we will be reading about the governing bodies. What are they exactly? What is the work? Why is the need of a government? Why do we need it? What is the function of its working? Anyone working in a place could work on on his or her own. Then why is it that we need a government? So we'll go through it. We'll know the meaning of the term government. Why is the need of the government? And what are the factors and levels at which the government works? Okay. So all of you, your eyes on page 197, the government. Okay. Now here it is, introduction. We'll begin with that. The government is one of the most important elements of a country which represents the will of the country, implements it, and runs the administration of the country. So before we begin, we need to know what government is. Now it is that body, it is that element which looks after the proper working of a country. Now, if all of us turn out to be bosses, then who will look after the working? No one will be ready to bow down for others. So, for that, we need an organization, a proper channelized working, any law which is to be made, which side of the road we are supposed to walk, when should we cross the road. All these basic small things, if we do not have rules, then do you think we will follow them? No, we will not follow them. So, for working and following a proper government body, a proper function in a state or in the country, we need what is called a government. Now, the organization of the government is different in different countries. Now, every country has its own working, every country has its own rules, and so every country follows a different pattern of administration. Administration means to look after the proper channelization, to look after the proper working. Okay, now here is a very famous, what do you call it, quotation by J.W. Garner. Please underline the name. Now, government may be defined as the agency or machinery through which common policies are determined and by which common affairs are regulated and common interests promoted. So, let us read and understand. Government is that agency or machinery. That means it is that particular body which performs what? Which through which common policies are determined. Now, it is through the working of the government's machinery the common policies are determined. That means you will get parks in your areas, you will get road ready in your area. Every work, every educational pattern, when the whole country is going to have the exam, when the whole country will cast their vote, will have elections. All these common policies and dates are determined by the government, are told by the government. Then, by which common affairs are regulated. Now, it is the working of the government which makes common work possible, all the small work possible, and common interests promoted. Whatever is good for all in the country or in a state, only those policies are to be followed. Okay? So I repeat here, government may be defined as the agency or machinery through which common policies are determined and by which common affairs are regulated and common interests promoted. That means the person's common interest will be taken into consideration before any government policy is laid down. Now, moving further, forms of government refer to the institutions and the working of those institutions. Forms. कैसी गवर्नमेंट होगी, किस तरीके की गवर्नमेंट होगी. In the olden times, there were kings and queens ruling us. Do we still have that kind of a government? No. Now we have a person, a head, who is elected by us through elections. The common people go and cast their vote, and through these votes which are casted, the majority person who's in power comes to hold the office and runs the government. So there are different forms of government. In the institutions of government, working is affected by socio-economic factors. That means any country or any state, whatever social condition is there, and the money it has. That means economic aspect of the country. If the country is very rich, it can implement various new policies. Like you can see, earlier we had traffic policemen to look after the movement of the traffic. But now our country has installed, every state government has installed the CCTV cameras, the latest technology of lights and signals to show us which right way to follow. On a red light we stop, there's the automatic counting, then on yellow light we get ready, and on green light we move. So actually now we don't need traffic policemen. And if you break the rule, the fine is sent through the number plate of your car. So all these policies, they very specifically tell you that with the coming of the money, with the coming of the social achievement, yes.
Ma'am, if there is no number plate, so what happens?
Child, actually there are small police booths also. There are small police booth, traffic police booth also in the corner of every circle. Okay, हर चौराहे पे तुम ध्यान से देखना, पुलिस स्टेशंस होते हैं छोटे छोटे, to check if there is any defaulter. Now the traffic policeman, poor man, he doesn't have to stand in the center in the sunlight and give you directions. This is the best part. But then he is sitting at the side of a road. Okay. So all these things, okay, all these things tell you specifically how the government is working. When we talk about the forms of government, the emphasis is on analyzing the institutional forms and their powers and functions. So when we talk of any government form, कि government कैसी है, we have a democratic form of government. That means people elect their the person whom they want to be governed with under. Now, when we talk of it, we talk about the powers the government will have and the functions. That means how a government will function. So not only just the power, कि उसके पास क्या power और position है, we also talk of कि वो क्या क्या काम करेगी. What functions will it perform? The government I'm talking of. Okay. Now, modern states are complex in terms of the scope of their activities as well as in the understanding of the structure and working of governments. अभी जो modern states हैं, जो present day states हैं, because of overpopulation, because of advanced technology, life has become very complicated, very complex. So we need lot of scope and activity. We want a firm government which can check on all aspects of working. Supposing all the colonies in the and the houses are built up very close by, there's no space, open space, then there could be a time that people might get, suffocated. So what government has decided that every colony should have a park, should have a sitting area, should have an open space. The government has decided that every few kilometers there should be a public toilet for sanitation. So all these works have been undertaken by whom? By the government, seeing the present day scenario, seeing the present day needs. So the basis of classification has also been widened. While some of these are restricted to the ways in which the government is organized, others are wider to include processes as well. Different criteria are used for classifying governments, such as by objectives, ideologies, or policies. So now, a particular government in a particular country, what kind of country it is that it is following that kind of government. So their ideology could be different, उनकी thinking हमसे different हो सकती है, उनकी policies हमसे different हो सकती हैं, और उनका objective, उनका aim क्या है, वो हमसे different हो सकता है. So no two countries are same. Let's talk about Pakistan, our neighboring country. Now there, they very firmly follow the state religion. That means in their country, they follow the religion to be the head. And there, since they are Muslims, they follow the Islamic religion there as the national religion. Whereas in India, we follow different policies. We have all people of all variety of religion living here. So what do we have in India? We have secular type of democracy. Secular means where every religion has the right to practice its own policies. There is no state religion. हमारे देश में कोई एक धर्म नहीं है जो रूल करता है. It is not a Hindu nation. It is a nation where all religions have been given the right to practice, to build their own place of worship. Whereas in Pakistan, they follow the Islamic process. Now let us talk in the same scenario about China. China, being a democratic country, it is a communist party. It is a communist kind of government where the people, the ruling person of China has not given press the right to publish anything. But press can only publish the things which are catering to the interest of the government. अगर गवर्नमेंट ने कुछ गलती की है तो प्रेस को अलाउड नहीं है कि वो बताए सबको, उसको चुप करने को बोला जाता है. Now let us talk of India. India has free press, free media. That means if any channel, if any newspaper finds any fault in the working of the government, they can question it. Okay? So we stop here with the introduction and we will continue further next time because I'm not sure whether the recording has been done properly or not. If it is not done, I'll be taking the whole chapter again, explaining the whole thing again to you if the audio will not come properly. I'm depending upon the child who has done the recording. Will you stop the recording?